number 1 in ESPN's way too early NBA power rankings. Guys, let's look at the West Coast. Notice the Warriors coming at number 8, and number 9 we have the Lakers. So obviously, Bob, former GM of the Warriors, and we're going to bring in Markieff Morris, who's currently on the Lakers roster, and I want to focus in on California here. Do the Lakers or Warriors need to make a bigger splash, Keith?
I would say the Warriors, right? And I wouldn't really call it a bigger splash. They just need to figure out what they're going to do with Kuminga, right? Are they going to keep growing him and make him an integral part of this team, or are they going to keep playing the up and down, you're not ready, you don't fit game? I think that's the main focus with the Warriors. Like you have to re-sign them and go get some assets to be able to fit around these guys, or you just have to just let them go and teach them more how to play with these guys. I mean, obviously it seems like it doesn't work at times, so I think that's the big thing. Obviously, everybody know the Lakers need a big, and that's the most important thing for them. They don't need to move too many core pieces around because about a month ago, people were picking the Lakers to win the championship. So I don't think they should, just erase that part of the team. Just bring in the big, and it's obviously the Warriors with Kuminga. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think it's easier for the Warriors. I like what Markieff said because they have Kuminga in their control. Right, so you can either keep him, and they have the ability to do that, or sign and trade him and decide if they get something back. So they have an easier ability if it's about Kuminga, because he's probably the easiest piece to elevate the Warriors. Because Butler, we know what he's going to do, and Draymond and Curry, obviously, and Podziemski. They've got all these guys around them. I think the team is well built, but Kuminga is kind of that X factor. He's been talked about for, you've talked about Stephen A. quite a bit of what he can be. But if he's not going to be, then what can you get from him? The Lakers is, I think, tougher fix. It's easy. We can sit here and we can also, Lakers need a big. Okay. As a GM, you go, okay, yeah. Okay, now what? Right? They had the idea of trading for Mark Williams, and they offered up quite a bit. And they decided that wasn't a good idea, and the medicals didn't look right. But I can't sit here and say it's easy to go get a big right now that can actually impact winning, that Luka Doncic wants to run the pick and roll with, and LeBron James that they can play at the 5. The Lakers team wore down because Jack said they stopped playing a 5. And LeBron at the 5 can work. It's like Draymond. These guys, it wears you out. LeBron's a fantastic player, but him at the 5 is very tiresome. Mm-hmm. So how are they going to go get a 5 that actually impacts them for a team that has championship aspirations? That is easier said than done.
They're holding vastly different hands. The Warriors have up to 4 first-round picks they can trade. They've got pretty much their whole portfolio. But they've also got 3 star players in their mid to late 30s.
And they already gave up a first round.
They don't have a pick tonight.
They don't have a pick tonight.
Yeah, right. But they have their picks going forward.
Yeah.
The Lakers, their sort of franchise player is in his 20s, Luka. But they don't have the same portfolio of picks. They have like 1 pick and 1 swap that they can trade. Now, they do have some expiring salary. But the Warriors are under more pressure to do something now, whereas I think the Lakers, in theory, could take a little bit more time. Now, LeBron doesn't want that. LeBron wants them to make a play now. And by the way, that seems to be their intention. They have made that clear. And the one thing that they've got is August 2nd, they have to offer Luka a contract.
4 years, $229 million.
He doesn't have to take it.
He doesn't have to take it. That's what he's eligible for.
What do you think he's going to do? Take it.
Yeah, I think
he's going to take some version of it.
It's going to take 3 years.
Listen, here's my deal. Here's my deal.
I think it'll be a little lower.
Yeah, hold on, Keith. Here's the deal. So if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, right, you need a big. You just need a big. We know this, okay? I got to think about it. The Mark Williams trade didn't pan out. Obviously, they were willing to trade Dalton Connect, and that didn't work out, and what have you, failed his physical, supposedly. So, ironically, they don't have a first-round pick tonight. They have the number 55 second-round pick.
Their pick tonight,
we'll leave that alone.
Is in Atlanta for Anthony Davis. Tonight, the Anthony Davis trade finally gets paid.
There we go, right? So now here you have it. You've got the Al Horfords of the world, the Lou Cornettes of the world. They're not the only team that need a big, but they desperately need a big. Here's what I would tell you got to watch out for the Los Angeles Lakers. That's why the Lakers would be my answer to this question instead of the Warriors. Dallas is not going away. They're coming. You do not want to be in a situation where you acquired Luka Doncic and Dallas looks better than you. That's a motivation. That's some motivation right there. You can't have that Dallas flourishing and the Lakers going home in the first round when you made that move. Now, I understand for business purposes, okay, Luka's going to sell. And you got a new billionaire owner. He purchased the franchise for $10.1 billion, okay? I got that part. I get all of it. But in the end, just like we said about Dallas, Luka can't be thriving, but Dallas home watching them. They'll want to do some harm to some people, Nico included, okay? That can't happen. And it's in reverse, too. If you Luka with the Lakers, you don't want to be home, but Dallas is ascending. That's what we have to watch out for. That's why I would say the Lakers.
But we didn't know the Cooper flag was going to come, so you can't hold that part against.
No, what I'm saying to you is that if you're the Lakers,
I
with
get
Luka
it, but I'm saying
Doncic, you don't want that.
Some things landed their way.
As the famous meme goes, we don't care.
Okay, you got to do something. I mean, if somebody trades for you, okay, and they say you can leave, and they're thriving without you, and you're not thriving where you are, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good. You got to make sure that don't happen.
Fair enough. All right, we got to go, guys. When we come back here on First Take.
Lakers need to accomplish here in the next week or thereabouts to become championship contenders.
They need two things. They need a center, and that is priority A. And then, of course, they need some perimeter shooting here. Now, listen, they've got expiring contracts to go out and make a deal over $60 million. Keep an eye on the draft pick they have in 2031 or 32. We saw they tipped their hand in the Mark Williams trade that was voided back in February, that they are willing to go out and make a big deal if they can get a center for Luka, a lob threat, rim protector that they sorely needed.
What feels realistic, Wendy, here in the next couple weeks?
Well, if the Lakers are committed to playing Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, and it seems like that they are going to need some defensive protection from them because teams are going to attack there. So ideally, you could have somebody that could defend a little bit more on their perimeter to use them, and you need a backline center. The Lakers are going to come into any negotiation, as Bobby said, knowing that they gave what they gave for Mark Williams last year, so teams are going to be looking for that first-round pick in the pick swap. So good luck to Rob Pelinka for trying to keep those on the table if he is going to try to make a bargain deal.
Yeah, he made the great move for Luka, and now we'll have to make a few more. Keith, you were there with the Lakers. I'm gonna ask you a complicated question. I understand it's not easy to answer this honestly. How close did you guys feel? The Minnesota, that we sort of described it as a bad matchup. How close did you guys feel to being a championship team?
We felt extremely close, honestly, right? The matchup, like you just said, was the big thing. But if you look back at a couple weeks before we started the playoffs, we played OKC in OKC 2 games. One of the games we won by almost 20. In another game, Luka was teched out of the game in the fourth quarter of a really good game. So they didn't bother us that much. So with that being said, I felt like we were super close. Next thing, and to piggyback off Wendy, they do need a big, right? I don't think they should give up their core pieces to get a big. You just need somebody that can, protect the rim, screen and roll,